Yo, 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 welcome to CypherBeastT.V. This is the host with the most, Tony 47. And today on this episode, we got B-Boy Kareem back at it again. We tapped in and did a podcast prior, probably about a few years ago. But man, you did a lot of good events that happened the previous year since we chatted. And so, Kareem, what you been up to these days?
Oh man. Well, yeah. Thank you for having me for the second time though, bro. I appreciate it, man. It's always good to just get to know people off the floor. So, yeah, thank you, man.
Yeah, for sure.
What have I been up to? I mean, just father life and father work and breaking life,
Well, yeah,
right?
the
That
question is like,
was,
what you been up to? You just got done with V1, some crew battles that happened, and I think we mentioned a little bit off screen that you had some surgery that happened. So tell me
yeah.
about that. What caused that, or what kind of surgery was it?
So I had in November, I think if our first interview was 2 years ago, I was already injured. I just didn't know how bad it was. But I had in November 2025, I had a hip labrum repair surgery, but that took me out for a while. Well, I'm still out technically, but I'm still rehabbing. So yeah, I just had that.
Nice. And you performed pretty good at the V1 recently against Ronnie Ruin, and I wouldn't have noticed that you had a hip surgery until you told me, or at least remind me that you had it. And so that's so within that mindset as the event and being a b-boy, what fueled you to train and prep for that stuff, for that event, that is.
Well, obviously, yeah, man. Honestly, I don't. It's hard to even say because technically shouldn't have done it. But your will and your will is a crazy thing. You can almost will into anything, in my opinion. So I technically wasn't ready for the battle, but I just adjusted certain things and adjusted my breaking approach, and it worked out for me. Um, and honestly, we had to do it. If we didn't do it this year, it was going to be harder next year, right? Because we don't know if we're going to get the opportunity again. So I talked to my doctor before I said yes, and she said that she's like, we don't clear people until like a year, until we don't clear dancers until a year after labrum surgery. So she's like, you're gonna be like halfway through the surgery repair, recovery time. So she's like, if you can do it, you're not gonna tear anything. You're just gonna feel a lot of pain
Hmm.
if you dance. And so I felt pain, but I worked through it. But I had to do it because if not, I had to wait a whole another year. So I just willed myself, but it worked out, luckily.
Yeah. Yeah, because you never know what happens the next year. As we age, we just don't know if another injury's kind of come up or that time frame of just the timing. And so that's cool, man. And I know you said some speeches during the event. You were mentioning like how you're prepping and training. Did you have any mentor coaches, or is kind of like your crew had your back while you're training? Tell me a little bit more about that process. You hear me? You there, Kareem? I think it's lagging right now.
Yo, Tony, it got pretty bad, I think.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Oh my God, this is terrible, huh? I can hear you. I
No,
can
now
hear
it's
you.
now it's okay. Now it's okay.
Is it okay? Okay. Yeah,
Yeah, totally
it cuts
fine
like
now.
off and on, huh? It has these like spike legs. Okay.
Yeah, no, now it's great. Now it's great.
What I was mentioning was, during that process, during the Battle of the Gods, such an honor to see that. Never been there in person. It looks super amazing to be there. I can't imagine the atmosphere and the presence of, just being there. I know you had to train some rounds and train for that competition. What type of things did you had to do while you're, being careful during your injury?
So now I can talk about it now, but I didn't really like post it on social media just because I didn't want obviously me and Ruin, we have history, right? So it's super honored to battle at V1, but me and Ruin is like that's probably besides there's one battle that's like kind of like a grudge match that they did. But me and Ruin was definitely like it's personal. We have history. So I didn't want people knowing what I was doing, but I was actually going to go train in Denver with Data, Rose, and Bowzee since I knew the elevation was going to be so high. So I trained out there a
Uh
few
huh.
times. So that's how I really got ready for the battle because I was like specifically training out there, preparing for V1. So I fly from Vegas to Denver.
Wow, that's crazy. That's incredible. So you're training out there. How far is it from Vegas, driving wise? Is it like 3, 4 hours,
I think it's like 8 hours.
or is it
But
more
I
than that?
flew. I flew every single time.
Is it?
Yeah, I flew. I flew. Yeah,
Got
yeah,
it.
yeah. It's
Okay.
far, bro. It's like It's far, it's far. But yeah, I flew. Yeah, like I think I went out there like once a month. I would go out there and go train with them.
Wow. Damn, that's
Yeah,
cool. That's crazy.
yeah.
That's tight too. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great
What would
experience, man.
you said during yeah, the when you're out there in for the V1 competition, that was out in Russia.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah, it
correct?
was in, yeah.
What kind of highlight moments do you memories during that event that stood out to you?
Dude, you know what? It's that's why I'm happy to do this interviews because I think people. I don't know. I was skeptical in going to Russia, really nervous because that, you watch the news and you don't really know what's going on. But dude, it was so great. Like
Yeah.
everything about one, to be real. If you get an opportunity to go to Russia, man, I would go. Everything is like the whole event is free. So the workshops are free. There's all every single time they invite guests. They do a workshop and it's free for anybody. The event to get into
Wow.
is free. You can battle for free and it's still a cash prize. So yeah, shout out to Tony Rock and Igor for doing an amazing job on V1. But honestly, I would say the highlight for the trip for me would be going with Morris because that was like that's my crewmate, one of my best friends. So going with him and actually the battle with Ruin was probably like the biggest highlight, to be honest with you, just because it was like, yeah, I was super nervous, but and honestly, the people were great, man. It was everybody was so nice, everybody was so positive. Bro, it was one of my best experiences in dancing for sure.
So cool. Yeah, the experience. I see some stories like on Instagram. It looked pretty cool. Like it's like the build up to the battle, but then the journey being, pivoting to the that main event. Wow.
Yeah. No, it
And
was
so
dope, dude. And the dancers are
you
incredible.
go ahead. It kind of cut there for a second.
No,
You mentioned the
I'm sorry.
dancers.
The dance, like everybody's almost high level, bro. Like there's like, dude, the level is high over there. From the little kids, the B boys, the B girls, like there's high level, dude. And it's high level, but it's a different type of high level. Like they're high level, but they care about the culture, like they really are they're passionate about the culture and the foundation. Even though they're high level, it's just, yeah, it was a great experience, man.
Damn, cool. That's your recent battle that you competed. But I think sometime this year you actually had a crew battle. One for the city, I believe. Is that out in was that in China? Or where was that at?
No. That was in Edmonton, Canada. That was super random. Yeah. No, that was in Edmonton, Canada. Shout out to Amit and Chris for bringing us out. But that we judged last year, and the vibe of the event was so great that I was like, we talked to the promoter and we're like, hey, we want to come back next year and compete. But the only thing is, he wanted us to do the open styles and the breaking. So yeah, we did the open styles and breaking. Luckily, we were able to win both categories. But the dancers out there, they're getting good too. The open styles, they're really good, and then the breaking teams, they're getting good, dude. But it really ain't about levels. It's really about the positivity and like just if you feel welcome when you go there. Like I felt super welcome. That's why I wanted to come back and battle. So we came back and battled, and we were
Mm.
able to have a good performance there too. I mean, I didn't have a good performance. The rest of the crew definitely had a good performance. So everybody was killing it.
Yeah, I saw some highlight moments how icy eyes and germs, and then they kind of threw some kind of like routines or commandos, but into like an all style way, which is kind of new and
Yeah.
fresh because it's kind of cool, to see that. Like, oh, whoa, they pop into that, and then it's not just breaking, but like all styles, some waving, some popping, and stuff like that. So I think it's cool. It's nice to see during that event. How did you guys prep for that event? Like, I know all you guys are kind of living in different locations.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me how do you guys kind of build in that unity in Vibe on Connect? Like, do you guys meet up a couple days before and just start prepping, or like, do you guys have meetups like online or something?
For the city, we just met up the night before. We flew in Friday afternoon, taught a workshop, and then Friday night we practiced for the battle. But like when you have a connection with your friends, you don't need a lot of time. But again, we don't need a lot of time to like vibe out. Like we're friends, so it's like we're just happy to see each other and to be around each other. So it's like, yeah, we went there Friday, battle Saturday and Sunday, and then did our thing. But no, you don't need that much. I mean, if you're genuine friends, you don't need that much time. You know each other's timing. you know what's gonna work good with this person, what's better with that person, this person should go. It's like it's kind of all organic. It sounds cliche, but it's like just organic, approach.
Yeah, yeah. Can I tap into that a little bit deeper? So like the chemistry you guys have, it's based off because you guys are a crew. You know, you guys didn't pick up somebody like the day or week of. You guys already been in a crew for, yeah, I don't know how long the newest members, but you guys been at least 4 or 5 years, even longer with each other. And so that's how, you know, so in your mind, what does it mean to have a crew?
Indeed. Yeah, so, well, I've been in Rockforce for 25 years, give or take some. And the newer generation, Ives is the oldest of our recruits that we got in, which is he's been in down for like 11 years now. But what it takes to be a crew, it's really not, I mean, it's hard to explain without sounding corny, but it's like you got to really care about each other, you know? Like
Yeah, it's funny how it's like a lot of this stuff is cliche, but
yeah,
it is what it is.
yeah, it's super, yeah, I mean, we have to care about each other. And like, for us is we don't have to talk all the time to connect with each other, you know? But at the same time, like it's yeah, dude, you just gotta care. Like you gotta care about them in all off the dance floor and on the dance floor. That's what for me the crew is about. Like you gotta care about them just as a human being. And they gotta be good human beings, you know? And the younger generation and the guys we have, all the whole crew, like yeah, they're great. They're great human beings, you know, and I would kick it with them without even breaking. So that's what it means for me in my mind to be a crew, to know that my family's safe around them and they can come to my home and sleep over without me having to worry. You know what I mean? Like they're family. It's like an extension of your family, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Dang. Yeah, because the reason I mentioned that just because we see a lot of one-on-ones, 2-on-2, 3-on-3s, not as much crews. I mean, the last 2 years I've been seeing more crew battles that's happening, and is the reason I asked that question in your mind, in Kareem's mind, with the Rock Force, the chemistry of that, and then you know, because some of us just kind of we see like all-star teams where it's a different. Everyone has their superpowers, but then when it comes down to like real crews, like Rad Crew, you can tell like they've been getting down for X amount of years, and it kind of you see it on the floor, so it's kind of cool. And then matching with the Rock Force, like what you guys did at One for the City, you guys did some like a gymnastics routine or something like that, which was super tight, where you're kind of flipping
Yeah.
knives around, and then he just killed it at the end,
Yeah.
jumping on the stage and then jumping off the stage. I was like, whoa, he's blowing it up. And so the chemistry you guys have is super fire. And then so it's great to see that essence in the crew battles.
Yeah, I mean the super crew thing is I mean I've done that too, where you dance with people you really don't know too well. But for me, I just something kind of woke up and I was like, nah, like I want to prioritize my friends, you know, and obviously I'll still do like certain if my team's not there, then I will do a made up team if the opportunity like permits. But if my crew's there, yeah, I'm dancing with my friends. You know, it's pretty simple. It's an easy kind of approach in my mind. You know what I mean? Like there's not a lot of genuine crews that compete all the time together. So I just want to keep that going. When you think about breaking as a whole, like yes, you're right. There's not a lot of crew battles anymore, but like I have the most fun when I'm doing a crew battle. So why not just continue that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Man. So like with with breaking though, in your sense, I know time is going. What do you have going on this year? Are you have any plans of going to any competitions or competing anymore?
Yeah, well, I'm rehabbing now. Hopefully, I think I have another post-op appointment with the doctor in like a month or two. So honestly, I'm just focused on recovery, really, to be honest with you. Now that I actually can focus on it, right? Because V1, I didn't really think about it. It was just like if it tears, it tears, you know. Like, but now it's all
Mm,
good. So now I'm just gonna focus on rehabbing. We got a couple of battles coming up. They're all international. So yeah, that'll be announced pretty soon. The crew battles that we're gonna do, but they're all
oh, okay.
international. I don't think we're doing anything national the rest of the year. I can't. I don't think we have anything going on for the rest of the year nationally. I don't think there's much going on nationally. I can't. I
Okay.
can't
Yeah, because
remember.
a lot of
I don't
the
keep
there's
up with
not too
all the
many.
events.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like Culture Force coming out, they're having crew battle, which is in August, and then I think after that the pro breaking tour is doing like gosh, where's that one in Chicago or not Chicago? Lord of the Floor, the not Lord of the Floors, Floor Lords
Floor
event
lords.
anniversary. Yeah, and then I think after that they're going to Japan for they're doing the freestyle session in Japan this year,
Oh yeah.
and
No,
so
we won't. So we won't be going to any of those, I think. Not that I know of so far. No, I don't think.
okay, yeah, yeah, cool, man. Well, B-boy Kareem, well, when you mention your crew and being good peoples, what does that coordinate in your family realm? Can you tap
Oh
more
man,
into that as being a good person? I mean,
it's pretty simple, man. Like, breaking now, it's breakers are they're amazing. Like you walk into an event, like it's kind of like you go to a big event, any team can win, which is great. But like for me, it's everybody's talented pretty much. So it's like I want to be with people that I trust and that care for me as a human being. Like in my mind, there's conditional love and there's unconditional love, right? Like unconditional love is like a unconditional love that your parents have for their child, right? And
huh?
I feel like for my crew, it's the same kind of thing. Like they're my family, so it's like unconditional love. If somebody loses, I don't really care if they lose or not. I love them no matter what. But I notice like with certain breaking situations, it's like conditional love. If you win a lot, people are gonna love you. If you stop winning, they're not gonna love you. So that's what I mean about like the crew dynamic and
Mm,
people caring about you just as a human being, right? And you see it, like you see it. I know I've been at my lowest lows and I didn't get no calls from anybody but my crew, right? And then I've been at the
mm,
highest highs and
right.
everybody's calling, hey, congratulations. Yo, let's go train. And it's like, nah, I'd rather stick with my crew. And I mean, that's the thing. Like the first battles you ever seen were crew battles
Yeah.
probably. Right? So that's not, I don't want to say that's the essence, but it's a big part of hip hop culture as a whole is, your crew and like connecting with people.
Yeah, I like how you mentioned the highs and then your low and lows, right? You're celebrating. Everyone sees your congratulations of the success of winning a competition or that a reward or some type of that mentions as a success. But then life can hit you in ways that, yeah, maybe you're down and, it gets quiet and you don't hear anything. And then who are those people that tap into you? Hey, what's going on? I haven't heard you in a while. Kind of means a lot more than just like a congratulations to that win or the W of whatever that is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I feel you. It's just like it's like we mentioned all those cliche sayings of this type of talk, and you see it behind curtains because you've been through it, and so yeah, totally, man. There's a lot of things that as being as good people that really can resonate into and hopefully other people, viewers and listeners, can resonate to that as well. Yeah, you might be the best at this, but strip that away. What else is there to help you feel you and inspire you and motivate you? And so that's dope. The crew, Rock Force crew, yeah, you can, yes, yeah, going strong, man. Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
we're
there
doing pretty
any?
well, bro. I can't complain. But
Yeah.
we've been around like 32 years, I believe now. I think or 34 years. It was pretty much when I was a little baby. Yeah. No, I'm sorry, 38 years.
Woo. Yeah, because you're on the origin. Were you part of the originators with it, or was
No,
there?
no, no.
No, because you're like second or third gen, right, or something like that.
I'm third generation. The first generation is from Union City,
Wow.
California, and they're like the crew is fundamentally based. They're all like from Union City, so they're all like Filipino. And then eventually, the more the crew got older, they recruited more people from different cities and different ethnicities and stuff like that.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So
It's
yeah.
mad history, and gosh, yeah. Has there ever been like a documentary based on kind of
No.
the timeline in the past or anything recent of that or any works?
No, actually
You said no.
funny. I want to do one, but no, not yet, not yet. Maybe in the near future we might do one because obviously the crew's evolved in such a different way. I think it would be great to do one, especially now since a lot of our mission is like paying it forward, always learning and mental health awareness. That I think it would be a good way to like for people to really understand who we are as people, not just dancers, you know. I think it'd actually be a good way to do that, to do a documentary. So good idea.
Yeah,
Thank you, Tony.
yeah, no, that'd be sick. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Because the reason I asked about that, because I see a lot of things like out there that could be like grants of like filmmaking, and then things could tap into documentary wise, where this the behind the stories of the hip hop crew, and from the '80s all the way to the present, kind of what we've seen and like that, and sometimes some of the stuff I kind of think of as like, yeah, I'm creating content, but it's like, can you create something like a documentary that you can pitch it and maybe a Netflix, a Apple, something that can push it even farther, as in thinking kind of bigger and broader than just YouTube. But is it, does it hit a X amount of views on YouTube as a pilot, and then yeah, and so this is like you're trying to think of like bigger things that what you can do and help grow the scene as well. And I think if we see more like that, because I think Wicked did a documentary. I saw that at one of his screenings, which is super dope and cool, and it kind of like, yeah, he gives me
Oh, you
opens
saw it?
doors for like other. I seen it. Yeah, I saw a screener
Yeah.
of his
How was it?
documentary.
How was it?
It was dope. Yeah, it was cool. I liked it. Yeah, I forgot who made it, but he was there. But I think it was a. I'm not sure exactly how they did it. And my guess is that they did some independent contract, or not independent film, and then they have to shoot it to different theaters and kind of get more screeners and more building more hype around it before like they make something official. Like what I mean by official, like, hey, can they sell it to like Netflix? Can they sell it to somebody that they can get more eyes on it, right? So I know he's doing a screening here at IBE this weekend, and then I'm not sure what else after that. But yeah, it was cool. It just talks about his history, his crew, and a lot of personal things about him. So
That's dope. That's dope. Yeah, hopefully I can check it out one day because I haven't seen it yet.
yeah. I don't think he played. I think he just did like a trailer. That's about it. But yeah. But yeah, that
Yeah,
kind of opens doors. Hey, maybe Rockforce can do something, or gives you an idea. So like all the documentary when you guys are traveling, battling, maybe you get a bunch of footages while you're out there and stuff will be, and then you can hopefully use it in down the road.
yeah, that's actually a
But
good idea.
the reason I brought that up,
I got to really think about
yeah,
that.
just get as much footage, even though you don't use it. Hey, maybe even archive, later in the future. Who knows? But
Dang.
the reason I
Yeah,
bring
you
that
did.
up, hopefully brings out some eye opening to some of the audiences that are listening and watching, that can help maybe grow this even larger than what it is.
But we need that.
Speaking of that, what do you see in breaking though? I know you've been around the world. You've been all the high level competitions. What do you feel like is next?
Honestly,
At
I
least
don't.
in
That's the
your.
thing. I think a lot of people they talk about what's next, and it's like I don't really, we had the whole Olympic era, and everybody came out the woodworks, and everybody's an athlete now, and like it's kind of funny. I think we just go back to the culture. Like we just go back to just trying to help each other. That's really what is next. I don't think it's nothing's gonna change. If something would have changed, it would have happened already. We just gotta kind of help each other, and our art form is so niche. It's so specific that like it's
Mhm.
very important, very imperative that we like actually help each other because if and let's say for example, if 10 people don't go to a 10 let's say, yeah, 10 people don't go to a I don't know, a UFC fight or an NFL match to 10 practitioners, that's not going to affect their industry because they're so large, right? But like 10
Mm.
people, 10 people, which is like a crew, not going to one battle in our niche, like in art form, it's a big deal. Like when you really think about it. It's that we kind of need to help each other
Yes.
grow. We really need each other. So I hope what's next is like we can actually connect more and be more inclusive to everyone. That's what I really hope is next. But like in theory, yeah, kids are gonna keep getting good and people are gonna win and people are gonna lose and that's what it is. But I really hope we connect more as a community and not just talk about it. Because everybody kind of not everybody, but people talk about community. But like I see a lot of exclusive things happening that I hope that we can actually come together and be inclusive as possible.
I love that. Yeah, I've been going to a lot of the high level competitions, and I think my next for me is I want to explore some of the international bigger competitions, and I thought about it well, that's why I brought up the question. It's like, okay, if I do go the IBE next year, I didn't go this year, but what if I go the other year? It'll be super dope. But then where's that pivot to, like more years down the road? It's I get it. Every year they're gonna have that event, but it's like building that network and relationship. How can we grow something larger than that? And I think that taps into a lot of like the content and documentary things I've been doing, kind of the vlog, which helps because it's sustainable and it kind of grows where you're at the event, but then cool, what happens after the event? I was there. I guess
Dude,
it's
I
the
don't know.
memory, right? But
I think like even with what you said, it's like you fly all the way to Holland, which obviously is a great experience. But it's like, what about in Portland? You know, like yo, in Portland in the mid
mm,
2000s, Portland. Shout out to we and Hugh and the whole Moon Patrol. They have one of the biggest jams in the
yeah,
world. You know, like, and it
Ash
was
to the
in Portland.
ashes.
Like, well, I lived there for a while. Yeah, Ash to the Ash. That was one of the biggest jams in the
Right,
world,
right.
and they threw it. You know, like they flew out Lilu, they flew out Junior, they flew out was it Rubber Legs? They flew out a bunch of people, and they did a great job. I feel like that was probably the biggest event in maybe Northwest history, maybe, you know, besides obviously Massive Monkey Day, Crash Fest, and freestyle session.
Right.
But that's one of the biggest. Dude, that was a great jam, and I feel like we kind of need to. What if people all came to Portland? Imagine, like we kind of need to like kind of work together as a
Yeah,
community.
they'd be like, "Dang." Yeah, I thought about that because it's been quiet on this side of town. Where it's like, okay, we know Seattle, but Portland's been very quiet in a sense of like more higher level cats, or I guess more notice, right? And so, but there once upon a time there it was big because I remember when I first started, Ash to Ashes was was the biggest jam that time, and I met Lee Lu there and a few other people. I think Rox Wright was there, and a lot of legends now. But how can we bring it back, right? And it's like a lot of that. What were you saying? Kind of that collaboration and connecting with each other to build it together. But then there's been a lot of exclusions, like you mentioned.
Well, I think Portland seems to be doing pretty well as a community on like a grassroots kind of level. I seen Sir B-Boy Sir, that's my friend, Sir Schools. He threw his jam, and that looked great. His crew threw an event, that looked great. And I think Portland is doing pretty good.
Schoolie B,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
which is Sir
I
Schoolie.
don't
He
know
goes by
why.
Sir
That's my
Schoolie.
boy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's my boy right there, though. But yeah, I know he threw a jam. That jam looked great. I think it looked like Portland is doing pretty well. The Northwest looks like it. We went to the Massive. I think it was the Beacon anniversary. That was a great event,
Hmm.
and obviously Massive does a great job. But the Northwest seems like they're doing pretty good. It just and I hope they're working together because it's such a small community that we kind of need everybody to work together so we can actually make it bigger, right?
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. And and some of us aren't have a big funding or budget where connecting, collaborating together might make it even better to to organize a bigger and better event together. And yeah, a
Yeah,
lot of things to think
yeah,
about.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
Portland
because I
scene is
remember
it's growing for sure.
I think when we was doing it and Hugh and all the brothers are doing all the Moon Patrol was doing Ashes to Ashes, like obviously that was just their crew event, but like I mean, dude, they did a great job. Like they really had the world come to Portland. That's crazy, you know.
Yeah.
And I was living in Portland. I was living in Portland when I think it was the last Ashes to Ashes, and dude, it was a trip to see all the international people live in Portland as well, you know. So I mean, it's possible, you know. Like I think it's again North. I think the Northwest is doing great, man. Like all the homies from the hoods, they're doing great. Team Reds and them are doing their jams up, and it's not SoCal, but it's like super Northeast.
Mm,
I think it's Northeast, right? They're doing their jams.
Tri Cities.
Yeah, Tri Cities. They're doing great. They're doing great things, man. Like I think the Northwest is doing they're trying, man. They're doing their thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we need
I
more of
when you
that,
mention
right? We need
back
more of that.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, I think that's why a lot of people tap into the New Birth event, Elephant Graveyard event, the Stray Path event that happened this year. Those are pretty hype, as in like underground raw essence type of jam. And so this last event, yeah, New Birth event
Can I
happened.
ask you what you
Kobe
mean?
from
Can I ask you what you mean about
on
like
what?
underground essence?
What I mean by that, not because I guess it's a category as what do you prefer? Bigger competitions such as like the freestyle, pro breaking tour events, the bigger events, the stage events versus like kind of when I go to like, for example, like the new birth event, right? I'll have places to like cipher, connect, but then I guess it could be subjective because other competitions, I mean, like freestyle, so I'm open to cipher as well too. But it's just at a higher level, so it's kind of hard to explain. I guess never hash what I
That I asked
said
that question
because
because I hear that a lot with breakers. Like, yeah, we want to go to the underground raw essence, and I'm like, okay, it sounds great to say that, you know, it really does. However, like, what is when you say the essence or the underground, what does that really mean? And it sounds like it's more like I don't know how to explain it, but it's interesting when people say that. That's I asked you not toward those events. I was just curious because you made that statement, and I'm like, what does that really mean?
right,
Like
right.
when you say essence, okay, essence
So
underground raw.
so
Like, what does that
so
mean?
what I meant
Essence
by that
underground
is
raw.
like I guess what I meant by that is like okay, I go to a freestyle session. There's high level cats. There's a lot of more publicity, more notice of these popularity of breakers and b boys, b girls are there versus like a local smaller jam where it feels more kind of raw ish. You know, I guess it feels more underground. Maybe it's not like in a high level stage, a nice venue. It's maybe a lower level venue where it's kind of feels like you're in an underground, you know, kind of like a battle fight. You're about to fight somebody from like, so it's not doesn't feel as commercialized. It's more like underground feel, and that's what I meant by that.
Gotcha. Yeah, when people say that, I always ask them like, "What do you mean by that?" Because I'm curious of what people mean by these statements. Because I'm like, okay, well, okay, like for example, I'm not gonna name like any events, but let's just say a jam in Seattle that's has maybe 150 people to a jam in LA that has, let's say, 1,500 people. Now, both of those jams have a DJ, right? They have a
Mm-hmm.
floor and they have judges, right? And they have dancers.
Yes, yes.
It's the same thing, no? Technically, it's the same formula. It's a tournament. It's not even a jam because a jam is where you're going to like actually dance together, not dance against each other, right? And you have all elements in it in the jam where you have, you know, graffiti art, emceeing, DJing, and breaking, right? And you can even have popping and locking and
Yeah.
house and whacking, whatever you want to do. But that's like a jam. But then when you think about the competition, the event from Seattle and the event from LA, they have the same thing. It's just a tournament, no? It's not really a jam like people try to I mean, it's
Yeah.
not like a true essence underground because the true essence or underground would be just ciphering together. That's like because they didn't have tournaments back in
Yeah.
the day, from what I understand. I could be wrong, you know. But when they say that statement, essence underground raw, I'm like, what does that mean? Because I'm confused because both jams
Mm,
have the same formula. They're a tournament. You're going there for a competition, a tournament, and there's going to be a winner or loser. So when they say it, I'm always curious because it's interesting, you know? But everybody has a
right.
different, a lot of people do say underground though. They say like, oh, the underground feel. And I'm like, okay,
Do
what does
they?
that mean? You know? It's interesting.
No. Yeah. What I feel it now. I what I to correct whatever I said. I think it's being more commercialized. Are they going to an NBA basketball game or are they going to a street ball? I that's
I
the only thing
got
I
you.
could really compare them,
That's a good comparison actually though.
from that.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
comparison, you know? That's actually a good one. Would you say, let me ask you this. Would you say that
Yeah, yeah.
the underground, so-called underground event has more pressure or less pressure than the commercialized event? Like which one has more pressure?
I feel the high level one.
So the
Commercial one, yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I'm always curious.
I
When we
think
have these discussions, I'm always curious.
I think just like the spotlight, it just seems like versus like the I don't know. You have a sense of like, oh hey, the lower one's like it's okay, I can mess up or something like that. But then, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's. But yeah, I know what you mean. If you've seen the high level stuff, and then what's it mean by the underground, and then it's like, yeah, yeah. So it's just the arena area. Yeah, yeah, man.
Yeah,
So
well, because yeah, go ahead.
no, go ahead. I was gonna change subjects. I was gonna talk about 06, 07 when you're talking about the Ashes back in Portland. But
Oh, let's
you
talk
about to
about
say
it. Let's
something
talk about it.
prior.
Please. No. Go ahead. Let's talk about the Ashes, bro. That's
Yeah. So back in '06, I started. That's when I started breaking. Right. I was 18. I'm like your age. I'm 38 now, right? And so I started when I was 18. I knew I had a sense of breaking prior, but I didn't know what like I was looking for because I was doing some hip hop stuff. Then I saw some breakers, and then those breakers, some of the crew during that time. My first event was one of, well, I guess my first big event was Ashes to Ashes. And I remember like a
nice.
homie was like going crazy. He's like, hey, that's Lilu. That's Lilu. I'm like, in my head, I just started. I was like, I don't know who Lilu is. I just heard about him. And it's crazy to be in that atmosphere, that event and not knowing to most of the people that were there are like currently legends now. There were Casper there, Roxrite.
Machine
Gosh,
won
so
it.
many people.
I think
Machine
Machine won
won?
that.
Did he win the seven this month?
I think Machine won. I mean, I could be wrong, but I could have swore Machine won Ash of the Ashes. Think. All right, was it King of the Ring that he won? But he did it for sure. I could have swore he won, but I could be wrong. Maybe I think Luigi was there too. Who else was there? Was
Luigi was
Morris
there.
there? Morris might have been there.
Morris,
Yeah,
he was
dude,
at
I'm
one of
telling
the
you,
events,
yo,
maybe '07 or something.
Moon Patrol ain't no joke, bro. Yo, Moon Patrol, they did that, man. Like you can't, dude. When you think about it, like there hasn't been a bigger event in Portland since Moon Patrol did their thing. You know, they did a great job, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, there hasn't been at least to that level within in at least in Portland. That is. I think they did Ashes again back in like 2016 or 15
Oh,
or
they did?
17, something like that. They did another one, but it wasn't they only high level cast invited. They did a Seven to Smoke, and they had like, God, I'm trying to remember who, B Boy Sa'u. I don't know if he's still. I haven't seen
Oh,
much about
Saul?
him.
Oh, yeah.
Sa'u was there. Gosh, oh my God, I'm getting a brain fart here. He won the Lord of the Floors with Menno.
Oh, Stripes.
He's in Florida. Oh yeah, Stripes was
Stripes.
there. Yeah, and a few other guys too. I had to bring it up. I totally forgot who's out there, but yeah, he threw it again around that time, but obviously it wasn't as big as those early times.
Of course, of course. I think the one that I did the King of the Hill, and I can't remember the year. I think it had to be in like 9, 8, because I was living in Portland when I did it. Because I remember driving downtown, and the venue was downtown, and it was on stage and stuff. I remember probably '08, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, shout out to Moon Patrol, man. They did that.
Yeah, no, that's sick. They have some great events. Just I don't know, the everyone's been kind of MIA these days. Life happens. I get it. Running other businesses, it can keep you busy.
Yeah, for
But I
sure.
remember you, Kareem. You came through at a jam. It was RoboCop Harvard Heroes. They threw an event from their passing. Rest in peace, Andy from Harvard Heroes. So that was the first jam I ever competed in. It was a 1 versus 1 at Nocturnal off of Burnside, and you won that because I remember one of my homies named Manny battled against you, and then he was like kind of like, what? Why am I battling him now? I think it was a top 16 against you, and obviously you won. You beat him, and so I was like, wow, that's crazy. So that's one of the first battles I've been to, and that's how I kind of remember you since ever since. And then I think that was right before like you're transitioning like locations or something like that. Do you remember that at all? That competition in Portland?
No, I remember me entering a lot of competitions in Portland when I lived there. Like for the first, like, 'cause I only lived there for 2 years, but when I lived there, I literally
Okay.
entered everything I could. You know, I was entering everything I could. I think, dude, I could have swore like I entered everything, but it was super cool. It wasn't
Yeah.
like a super huge scene, but they were super welcoming. You know, like everybody was super nice, and I remember winning a couple one-on-ones there. I don't remember the names of the events. But man, it was always cool, man. Man, Portland was cool as hell to live there. Well, to dance there was cool. To live there, it rained too much.
Yeah, yeah. It's the Pacific Northwest. It'll be sunny one day and be raining the next day.
Bro, I swear, I
Maybe
lived
even
one
snowing too.
year, I swear it didn't, the sun never came out. I feel like for like one whole year, and the sun maybe came out for like a week or two. And now throughout the whole year, I'm like, bro, I
Yeah.
can't. I got to go back to California, man. I can't do that. But everybody was cool.
Yeah.
They got good food out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Food here, food carts. There's tons of food carts now. Yeah, Portland's cool. Yeah, I enjoy it. There's a lot of spots for food wise and little pockets of sightseeing and all that stuff. And I really, yeah, man, Portland's dope. And then I'm trying to figure ways to help grow the scene as well. I know we're all trying to be on the same page with like I think every breaker and people when they're trying to throw events or like trying to grow the scene, we all have kind of that. I think we all have that same like ability and mindset, kind of how we want to grow it, but it's always a little different. And like you mentioned, a lot of things get excluded who you want to collaborate with. And so when you mentioned collaborating with a bunch of, if we were more collaborative and helping each other out, we might see, it might turn out bigger than what you thought you were doing or building. So it's me kind of reminiscing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like one thing here
Yeah.
is missing is the youth. There's no youth. I know B-Boy Surge from Jungle Brothers. He's teaching some students right now, but other than that, I don't really see much youth growth in
I was going to
breaking here
say
because
that.
when back in
I don't
yeah
see it
like
at
10
all.
years ago when I was teaching, there's a lot more youth. The generation before new birth, there's like no crews that I seen. I mean, there'll be some people here and there practicing and like learning, but there's not like official like any buildup of like any crews or anything. When I was doing, there's a bunch of high schools that had after school practices, but now there's like nothing, and so it's that essence is slowly fading, but it could be a great time to start teaching that because there might be a lot of people doing it, but they just don't know where to find it and to learn from. So that's
Yeah.
another.
It was, the scene was, I feel like the scene in Portland when I was there was fairly large. Like it wasn't like super, it wasn't a bunch of people but for when I, in my mind, what I expected from Portland, it was a way more people than I expected. And there was some youth breakers. It wasn't a whole bunch, but you're actually right. There isn't a lot of youth breakers that come out of Portland at all. Now that I think about it, but recently, I'm not really too familiar with everybody in Portland, but yeah, man, the youth
Mhm.
is what, that's what
Oh
keeps it
yeah,
going. So you're gonna have to teach them,
yeah. I know. I actually thought about stuff. But I was like, dang, it's just another essence. It's a lot of work too because once you're committed, like you can't really back out because you're trying to teach kids and learn the kids the right way, which is super cool because what I've seen so far, I was like, oh, I wish I kind of had like some blueprint of like kind of an idea of what to do when I was younger with breaking. And now it's like now we're seeing more youth battles out in Vegas. It's incredible over there with the youth. Is you know, yeah. Speaking of that, how's the scene over there? The last couple times I've been there,
But I
it's
don't
just
know.
it seems like Vegas is a great scene.
Honestly, I don't know. I've been away for like a year.
But yeah,
I haven't
yeah,
been active at all. Yeah,
because you
I
had
don't
the
even know. I
injury.
mean,
Yeah,
yeah, I think everybody seems to be doing well. I know Alchemy's still doing, they're still doing the stuff, still doing the work. Yeah, so but I'm not too sure. Of course, the youth is active here, so they're gonna do well, right? Like they're gonna do well. When you say Portland doesn't have the youth, then it's like how if they don't have the youth, then how can they even do it? They can't even participate. So you kind of have to just start small and build up,
yeah.
right? Like Vegas was not, they weren't about the youth a few years ago. When I first moved here, I couldn't even think of
Mm,
one kid that was here. Maybe like, no, I'm lying. I could think of like one or two, I think, but it wasn't a whole bunch. Now there's a whole bunch of kids here, which is about giving the opportunity, and being, and again,
yeah.
inclusive to everybody, right? You have to be inclusive to everybody so they can come and want to come, and it's a safe environment for them, like you don't want to exclude anybody from events and practices or anything like that.
Yeah. Well, I had a in my mind. So, if you wanted to start something like that, what steps would you do to start it up?
First step would be, obviously, if you have a space already, that's easy, right? You have a space, or you reach out to the
Mm,
community centers
right,
and you
right.
see where like the foot traffic's at, right? And you see where the foot traffic's at, and you go from there, you go that route, and hopefully you just practice that way, and then hopefully people see you breaking and they want to break that way. You can go that way, or you can go like the way Alchemy did it, where so technically the owners are myself, 18 and Young. Obviously, just two different crews. Again, we're talking about being inclusive, right, to everybody. So 18 and Young and myself, we kind of started Alchemy Breaking Academy. Yeah, but they run it. They run everything from the attendance to everything. They run everything. But we did it out of a studio and called Rhythms in Vegas. And we just started open, like there was an open practice, and then we started classes, and then we started getting more students, and then we were able to get enough students to where we can get our own space. And it kind of just started just step by step by step. But you got to be inclusive, man. And I think you got to be
Yeah.
inclusive. And you need help. Like in theory, we all need help. Like again, our thing is so niche that I think that
Yeah.
the that you kind of need to connect with the community in your city to, to build it up, because one crew or one person can't do it alone.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. You can't teach every day, or you can't be in the one side of the town and the other side at a reasonable time, or you'll get burnt out for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Dang, cool, man. Kareem, what's next on your agenda, man? Other than that, are you practicing much or building anything, or any projects happen in the near future?
No, right now, honestly, again, it's just recovery. We're not going to be doing in the circle. I don't think anymore. I don't plan on it. Yeah, dude, we're just
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
focus. We're just gonna focus on the crew and build that up, And I got some plans for the crew that we as a collective, like, I think will be a good thing to do. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, just focus on each other. Nothing too crazy. Nothing too big, nothing too grand. Just keeping it as organic as possible.
Is that, I'm assuming that same thing with skill talks. I think Inner Circle and skill talks kind of.
I mean, so Still Talk is Denver's event, but if I had to say, I'd be like, yo, chill. Like, yeah, that's Denver's event. But we help them out. Obviously, Denver's rock. But I mean, I think the US has too many events in the first place. So I think we just help other events,
Hmm.
not throw our own events, help other events. Maybe. I don't know. I have ideas. I don't have all the answers, but I have ideas like you do.
Yeah, yeah. Gosh, I know. There's, if you look at the worldwide or even the states, there's a jam every weekend. It's crazy.
Yeah. That's why I didn't want to do it in the circle anymore, because I was like, yo, there's too many events. We did good and we did well. Um, so especially I'm not a promoter, so I don't even know how we even did what we did. But obviously Donovan and Denver did majority of the hard work, and Jason. But yeah, I was the first one to be like, yo, I don't want to do this no more, because there's just too many events.
Yeah, I'm in California this September. They got Style Elements coming up, and then Spin Control's coming up in San Francisco in September. And and obviously it's throwing some big events, and then tap in. It's like, dang, there's so many competitions. It's hard to attend them unless you're local. But
Yeah. Yeah. It's a trip. It trips me out when I think about, like, back in the day, when, like, we mentioned, like, Ashes to Ashes. They had a good amount of people. The first one was filled. Like B-Boy Summit was filled. Freestyle Session was filled. Like, like so many people. But now it doesn't really seem. It seems like the audience is kind of less. I could be wrong, but it just seems like it's kind of like not decreasing, but I don't know what it is. Like, it just doesn't see. I think it's just too many events, but I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know. Because there's a lot.
yeah, yeah, that makes me kind of think as well too, because like how we're talking about like jams, organizing it. Are they, maybe they want the audience want to see more like arena type of styles? Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, or like they want to
I,
see more of a show.
I mean, I can't, I don't really know the answer. I just know that if you watch a B-Boy
Yeah,
Summit in 2000, or, 2001, or even like '08, it was a crazy amount of people for what I remember. I was a kid, so I don't, my memory could be skewed a little bit, but if you go watch the footage, it looks like a lot of people there. And then now it's like you go to an
yeah,
event and it's like, it doesn't seem like that many people. But again, there's so many events, right? Like 2000 and 2001, there was only like B-Boy Summit and a few others that did events. But now it's like, it pretty much an event every month. So you can kind of pick and choose which one you want to go to.
yeah. Oh yeah, I know. I seen that. I was like, oh, it'd be cool to go this event and this event, but then it's like, with the flight, trying to find housing, that stuff adds up. Where it's like, okay, dude, I had to be a little bit more strategic with the time and traveling, especially with family too. I would love to hit up a majority if I can, but it's like, okay, my kids got school, I can't really go do this. And so, speaking of that, as a family, is it one daughter or do you have two kids?
I have just one kid.
Just one kid. Okay. Any more coming?
I'm not sure, man. Life is expensive, and I'm still trying to just balance this out, you know?
Yeah.
Balancing like work,
Yeah.
family, breaking, my mental health as a whole, like, it's, making sure I'm there. It's a balance. It's definitely a balancing act. I haven't mastered just yet, but I'm here, so keep trying, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, what advice would you say as being having a child of your own and still trying to do this at a high level,
Man, well, first, I think it's a heavy question. Well, obviously, your family comes
right?
first, no matter what. Your family's come first, no matter what. But being that I make a living off dancing, like I have to dance, you know? So like even getting ready for V1, my family sacrificed so much time away from me, you know? Like my wife did a great job with making sure that I had time to practice. So they sacrificed as much as my performance was me, like my family and my wife and my daughter, they did a lot of work too, you know? So to help me prepare, you know? So give yourself a little grace, I would say. Give yourself a little grace and understand that like it's only 24 hours in a day. So do as best as you can and don't harp on if you didn't get to practice this day because you had to watch the baby or yeah, just make sure and well also too just be as present in your family's life as possible. But also to understand that like, yo, yeah, break is not a job, but I mean I'm a professional breaker. So I do it because I get paid to do it, you know? So understand that you do have to put time. You got to
Yeah.
clock in those hours, you know? But yeah, you definitely need to have grace for yourself, man, and make sure you check on your mental health and make sure your mind's right and your emotions are right.
I love that because the mental health can really get to you. I relate a lot of that for me. I mean, I have a lot of mental health with like trying to juggling everything as like career, work, family, and then trying to do, podcasts plus like editing and video editing, all that stuff. I would say for me right now, I've done probably over like almost, I would say 60 to almost 100 episodes. And I'm like getting content fatigue, because I'm doing this on my own. I don't have the right finance to like hire an editor, well, at least not right now. But so I'm kind of building it up, right? And I'm like, and I kind of recap myself, like, okay, I kind of fall back. Okay, why did I start in the beginning? I love Instagram, the shorts I was doing, both mainly through YouTube. And so I was like, okay, I need to get back to my general beginning, why I started, which I really enjoyed, like the vlog, going to events, kind of doing that. But I love tapping in the interview and stuff too. But this remote stuff, it's great too. But I think I'm getting to like, okay, I enjoy this, but then it's like I gotta really strategize and build systems where I'm like, I enjoy doing this, but like, where am I taking it? And then hopefully a lot of this advice, helps people that grow within the breaking, but then also as a human and lifestyle, hopefully that helps and gives them a little guidance of what's out there. And I love that you mentioned your family, your wife helped a lot while you're, prepping for V1, you know,
Wow.
without
Yeah.
my wife, me doing what I have to do. I don't know if you can, with the kids and without your wife helping on the other side. They're amazing people, and definitely mention what you say. Give each other more grace. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, even for you, it's like you made a statement that's like I ask myself that statement all the time, but when I ask myself that statement, I'm like, I'm actually already. What are you saying? What's next? Or like, what is this bringing me to? And it's like, what is it supposed to bring you to? Like, what is there? Like, did you have a goal? Like, to think, like for me, for example, this year, to be honest, the year's not over, but technically the year's over for me because when I got V1,
Right.
that was my goal. My goal was to do good and have a great performance at V1. And for me, from April till July 17th, which is when V1 was, I trained and that was my goal. Now, to be honest, the rest of this year, it's not really, I'm still going to be active, but I accomplished my goal. I can show you a picture where I wrote it out like battle V1, this year versus Ruin and, do really good and win the battle. That was my main goal. But now it's like
Yeah. Yeah.
in my mind, once V1 was over, now it's family time, right? But that's
Hmm.
but that's where you have to ask yourself, like, is this supposed to take you somewhere? Or are you already there present doing it? You're doing it. So it's not really gonna take you anywhere. And to be honest, you have three kids, right? Like So technically, let's say, for example, it did blow you up and you were
I
traveling the
got four
world.
now.
Four. Holy
Yeah, yeah,
snap.
yeah.
That's easy. So yeah, oh,
Yeah,
that's
that
right. Three girls and two boys. All right, one
yeah.
boy.
Yeah, three girls, one boy. Our third girl, she's kind of MIA. I didn't post too much about her, but we did. She was kind of our like quiet baby. But dude,
Yeah.
it's kids are amazing. I love it. They're so fun, right? And sorry to cut you off, but yeah, just
No, bro,
it's a
that's
hard
crazy.
work, but being there, present with them is amazing to see them grow. And like I mentioned, I was going to Culture of Four. We're going to go Disneyland that same weekend. So,
Nice.
after the event, we're going to go to the zoo and then the Disneyland. And so making a family trip while I'm working, right? And so, I mean, I could say a little bit more about that, but I forgot what you were saying before that. I kind of cut you off. Sorry about that.
No, bro,
But,
I didn't know you had a. You
but
didn't say nothing about your last one. So
yeah,
that's
she was born
important.
in
That's
December.
important. What?
Yeah, she was born in December, and it's like, yeah, we post some video or some content, not too much of like the other kids. This one we're kind of enjoying with the baby and like, yeah, being with them. But like I was mentioning with me doing the media podcast, obviously it's a independent contract. It is, I did build an LLC to this channel, right? Where you get tax advantages where like, okay, I'm going to Culture of Four. I'm going to capture content, interviews. Technically, I'm working, so I can write off some of the flights,
Nice.
hotels, a few other things, right? As long as I make content, work through it. And so I'm still trying to figure out how that realm works because a lot of YouTube people will do travel channels. They go travel in Japan and do their content and then creating a write off somehow because that's their work. They're building content and video editing to that. And so I kind of felt a little bit of that and I'm just trying to figure out how to scale it more. And so whoever's listening, hopefully maybe this gives you an idea of how to build it, because I know the cost of like traveling is an expense, but is there ways and reasons to create it in a business or long term? I know that's kind of like some people might tap in and want to learn more about it, but I'm still learning on the go as well because I would love to like travel to the bigger jams, go to the events or do with the passion I love and then have an incentive somehow to do it because all the love doing it. It's yeah. I don't know. I mean, that's just a general idea. We could tap more into it later.
Well, I think you said something that is very important. It's like doing something that you love to do, and how do you do it? Like, how do you kind of monetize that? And it
Right. Yeah. There you go. That's the right word.
being a person that monetizes it. It's like you said you had 100 episodes already, and how I look at my career is like I worked my butt off when I was younger, and now that I'm older, now I'm just getting dividends back now, Like I did so much work and I represented so much that
Mm,
like all the opportunities I get now are just dividends, right? So you just do the work, man. Like you do the work and God willing, everything works out for you, but you gotta do the work. So you've been doing the work, Tony. The thing is like we don't know where it's gonna take us. Like we don't know. Like I don't know. I didn't know
right.
to be honest with you, when I started traveling at 14, I didn't know that I would still be dancing at 40 and to be on a stage of V1. Like I
Hmm.
never thought that I would be able to do V1 like ever. Just because it's like it wasn't one, it wasn't there, but two, it's like I didn't know that my name would get as much recognition as it did, as it does. And so I'm just lucky. It's kind of like you try your best and you see where the cookie crumbles. You know what I mean? You don't know. We don't to this day. I don't know where breaking's going to
Yeah.
take me. It's taking me to 70 plus countries, and multiple championships, right? But like I don't know what's next. There's God willing, I'm continued. To be honest with you. So this for your advice for you.
Yeah.
It's like you don't know what's next, but that's not what you shouldn't be thinking about what's next. You should just be thinking about what's going on right
Hmm.
now and then what's going on right now.
Yeah.
Hopefully, do a great job, and then you go to the next.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to really figure it out because you're kind of in it in the moments and like you mentioned, you hit V1. All right, this year's kind of done, but what's looking forward later? We don't know yet.
Mm. We don't know
It's
yet.
so
We don't know yet. We just gotta
just as
be
long as
right.
you put it in and yeah,
Yeah,
be
and you're doing
present
a
in the
great job,
moment and
bro.
just put in that work.
Imagine like you started
Thank
when
you.
you started this. No, no problem. You started this a few years ago, and you're still doing it now. You interviewed bunch of people. Imagine, like, you probably didn't think you were gonna do it this long,
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, yeah. First it was kind of yeah for a while, and then a lot of people that I spoken to and kind of build it in a way. I mean, there's a yeah, yeah. This is just the beginning though. I have like this other idea that I want to really get into, but it'll take some time for sure. It's just keep building and putting that work, like you mentioned.
Yeah, bro, you got to keep
Like, you know
going.
how I think we are talking earlier about the filmmaking thing or whatever, the documentary. I was actually thinking into like, hey, couldn't that be as part of an essence of like Portland? What if I reached out to the Portland independent film and they give me like a grant to help produce a independent film of like hip hop or breaking in Portland, which we fall back into like Harvard Heroes, back into the Ashes to Ashes. You know, there's a lot of history built into that, but it's really kind of packaging in a way. How can it make it more general publicized to it? It gives me ideas like that, and I don't know. That could be tap into something too, or the teaching. There's a lot of things I would love to do with breaking to like help grow the culture and the scene, at least in Portland. But like you mentioned, I have to connect with a lot of the community as well because I can't do all this by myself. There's no, there's no way. But
Yeah, I mean, well, even you're talking about like you have a lot of ideas. I think one thing that I tell like my mentees that I have and like the younger generation of my crew is like we have a lot of ideas, but you imagine just being good at just one thing and actually being really great at that one thing, hone in on that one thing. Again, example V1 for this year that was it for me. Like I focused on that. Obviously, there was a lot of stakes at hand because of the history that me and the guy have. So I've just focused in all on that. And imagine the pressure of training for months and months, being injured, and then if all the work you put in with the work you did and then the work your family did, the sacrifice your family did, and it just depends on that one day and those 7 rounds, how did it work or not for you? That's a lot of pressure. So I would hone in. Like my advice is like if you're gonna do the podcast thing, hone in on that. If you're gonna do something else, hone in on that and really
mhm,
make sure you're undeniable at that, and put your all into it. But doing so much stuff, it's a lot, like doing a lot of stuff, it's really
yeah,
hard to do. So yeah, I would definitely keep the ideas, but like hone in on one thing and focus on it. You know what I mean?
right, right, yeah, for sure. And then with me doing this podcast stuff, I've been in my back of my head. I'm like, I gotta get back in training and like battling. I feel
Yeah.
like I'm not. There's a lot of. I feel like I haven't like capped yet or like peaked yet or anything like that. And I feel like I have like all these moves in my head. I'm like, but I haven't been training that much. I haven't really practiced for like probably almost 2 months. But I've been like going to the gym to like run and like work out, but not like breaking. I do miss it. It's just been quite busy, and so because yeah. Anyways, I guess the question was I was mentioning. Which was kind of off topic. I'm kind of rambling right now, but
You're good.
so with content though, since we're talking about a little bit of content stuff, what kind of content do you think like the culture actually needs right now? We see a lot of battles. I think we're pivoting into a lot of the storytellings happening. I think Battle of the Years, they just started a podcast recently. I think it's so new still. It's still aging for storytelling stuff. But what in a sense of like in the breaking world, what do you think in content do you think needs?
That's funny. It's funny that you say that because you're actually doing it. Like you're doing that. You're doing the content that we need, right? Like we need to know who we are. Like you think about how many times you've seen me battle or seen, Munir battle or Machine battle, but you don't know Machine's last name. You don't know Machine's first name. You don't know where he comes from. You don't know nothing about Machine. You just know B-Boy Machine he kills, he dances amazing and he kills the beat. He does a crazy movements, but that's all you know. But you don't know the person, right? And that's one reason why I want to do
Mm,
that's why I'm willing to do interviews because when people post these dance clips are less than 30 seconds. So you're judging somebody off of 30
mm-hmm.
seconds, but it's like, do you really actually know who that person is or how that person, he or she is as a human being? We really don't know. And I think we need to get to know each other more, like we need to do that as a whole. Cause man, there's been so many times that I've competed against people for like decades And then I have one
Uh-huh.
conversation, like we competed and it was like, we had it was heated, it was intense. And then once we have one conversation, we're super cool. Example, me and Morris. Me and Morris are like rivals, not rivals, but we didn't like each other on both sides for probably a decade. And then we had literally one conversation over the phone. And then we like instantly became best friends, like
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So we kind of need to get to know each other. So I think the content that you're doing would be great, maybe in a shorter
Mm,
form so people get to know. Cause I know for sure when I battle, I'm a little intense, and so people might judge me on that,
yeah.
but I'm a human being first. The breaking part, the B-boy Kareem is just a section of who I am, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. You kind of put in this persona when you're breaking, but then outside the stages and or the competition, it's like, yeah, you'd be heated during that battle, but afterwards, yeah, who are you as a person? You be really dope, really cool. Maybe we don't, like you for X reasons, and we don't know that. And so, yeah, like you mentioned, yeah, a lot more of that, getting to know somebody will help. Even like that will even help, yeah, build our scene up a little bit more too, because there's a lot of storytelling when it comes to like sports events or other actors and stuff. They'll do a lot of panels and more of that, and that gets leaked on the internet everywhere, especially if you're like an actor like The Rock or something, and it's just like
Yeah,
everybody loves them.
yeah.
Can we bring those essence a little bit more into our culture to help grow it? So
Definitely. Well, you said one thing, you're like, well, we don't you said like, well, yeah, we might not like this person, but you don't even know this person. So like what do you don't like? You don't like the way he dances, you don't like, you know what I mean? Like that, but that's that statement you made is like that's all around our community. Well, you know what? Like Europe is really welcoming. I feel like Europe is really welcoming. So like they'll get to know you. But I feel like in the United States, sometimes it could be a little closing in. And if you're not crew or you're not dancing a certain style, that's what I mean about like conditional and unconditional, right? It's conditional because if you're dope and people really like you, they're gonna really they like your style, they're gonna really gravitate towards you, and even though they don't know you, right? There's been a lot of breakers that I've
mm,
met that like had a really, really dope style, and then they weren't really that dope of a person. I won't name names, but mm, that's why I always try
right.
to give, no matter who you are, like I'll give you a chance. I'm a more of a shy person though too, but like anybody who knows me that knows me knows like, dude, I'll talk to anybody as long as you have good vibes. Like I'll talk to you. It's not about the skill set, but I think if we get to know each other more, it'll be better. Not just at a gym, we literally just look at each other. Really, when you think about it, we look at each other in the cipher, we look at each other on the stage. That's all we're doing is looking at each other, but
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's not, we're not verbally communicating. But I think if we do some more stuff like this and verbally communicate with each other, it actually we get to know each other more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that kind of tees off. So I have this other question. So it's like social media versus real culture, right? And so, what's more important today, like skills or visibility?
And what's more important for me or the
Gosh, I like both, but I would say you.
okay. So for me, I think skills, of course. I think being a good human being is number one, and then skills will come and go, right? Like for example, like you made a statement
Mm,
earlier, and the people are giving us love because we're pretty active right now as a crew, right? Which is cool, like which is really cool. But I just think it's funny that people think like it's a new thing, like we've always been active. Yeah, like sometimes we as a crew we've obviously had our low times or people are injured or life happens or whatever the case may be. But we're more visible now, so people see that we're doing a lot of stuff. But we've been active this whole time, and we've been in a genuine way active. So it's just people are seeing it, so they think, oh yeah, Raw Force is doing, they're killing it right now. But it's like, when have we not? Is it because you didn't see it
mm,
that we're not? Or, I mean, I feel like we've always represented ourselves. And so I personally like being a better human being and then skill set and then visibility. But I would say if I asked the question for the scene, I would say most of the scene would probably say visibility more than skill.
hmm.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nowadays, huh? They'll see your social media page, and then they might kind of click to you when they see you like at an event because they seen your media page versus like seeing you in person. So that kind of helps visibility and then your skills. I don't know. That's why I think. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because if you think about it, like if you post a lot, like obviously you get more followers. But like if you post like one good clip, like you only get followers for that one day. But if you post every day, you'll get like one or two extra followers up for every clip a day. So in theory, it's like the more you're active and visible, the more followers you get. But does that really matter? Is that important to get like more followers? Of course, for visibility, of course, having hella followers is great. But like that had just because you have hella followers ain't got nothing to do with if you gonna win that battle or not. The followers can't help you win that battle.
Right.
So what are we talking
No.
about? For me, I don't care about the followers. I want to I want to do good in the battle, you know. So they can't help
Yeah.
you when it's
Yeah.
when you're on the floor, you know.
You have that. You win the popularity contest, but it don't mean you're gonna win the battle.
Exactly, exactly. And that popularity contest, what is it? Like it's not. It's just popular on social media, and we all know that social media isn't as. It's definitely important, but it's not like real life, live life, right? So
Yeah. Yeah, and there's a couple ways you can pivot your, your social media in a way, which I'm working on too. But we'll see down the road once everything gets the way I prefer. Like you have these, X amount of followers, you can connect and start doing more brand deals or try to get more brand deals. So, more sponsorships or monetizing in a sense of like, oh, affiliate marketing, stuff like that. And so that's a lot of thing I think that's probably my next move. For example, like the podcast. Hey, this is a Shure mic. Let's talk about this mic. How many interviews I got using this mic remotely, right? We talk about the product, and then hey, I'm going to take Shure. Maybe they like what I do, and they can send me some products to sample or something, right? And so I think that's one way we can pivot and use the social media with followers. But oh, hey, we have 20,000 followers, we can use that to kind of pivot into like a deal or something like that where helps both parties and more exposure. But that's kind of a realm I'm trying to hopefully pivot to, even though, people are like, oh, you're doing it for the money or the culture. I'm like, well, I'm pivoting to get this monetized in a way so I can help make it sustainable and then help, build up, helps with organizing jams and help other ways to build that long term. And so
well,
yeah,
you're doing a
I mean,
great
I could
job
tap
as
more
far as
into it, but
posting. You're killing it. I
yeah,
see your
yeah,
followers. You're growing pretty fast, dude. You're doing. You know, your page, your
yeah,
social media page is not like you're inclusive to everybody, which is great. You know what I mean? Like you're actually doing a great job. It's not. It doesn't look like you're on one side of the community. You're like all around. Like it's really inclusive, bro. You're doing a good job.
yeah. I could tap more into that. The reason I mean, let's just say there's a lot of no's, and then some people say yes. So I was like, all right, let's work, let's do something, or like or podcast and connect somehow. But yeah, I mean, this could be very. Anyways, to me, because I'm in the moment, and to my head, I'm like, I'm not finished yet. I don't think I'm done. But in when that's why we met more grace. Kind of like okay, kind of pivot back and give myself more grace, but I don't know what's next. In my head, I'm like, I'm not there yet. I don't know. I'm catching something that's never ending, I think, but then it
It's
kind of pivots
it's
like, okay, what
bro.
am I
It's
doing
never
this for? My fan.
Tony. It's never ending. Like it's never. And you think like the thing is in when I was younger, to piggyback off like breaking as a journey, like dude, again, I was 14. I won freestyle session in Japan when I was 15. So in my mind, it's like, dude, I won
Damn.
freestyle session already. You know, like what else do I need to do? Like, like it's not it's but I'm and that was an immature mind, but like now the journey never ends, the work never stops. Like you don't stop. Like it's never ending, actually. Now being what that was 20 years ago my first freestyle session went, and the journey never stops, bro. So, buckle your seat because you're in it for the long haul, my guy.
Yeah,
So,
man. Dope,
not stop.
dude. Dope. I think I'm going to probably wrap it up here shortly. You know,
Yeah.
I think we should tap into this again, maybe in whenever the time's right, few years, or maybe do it in person. And so that's another thing I want to tap in some in person things just because the quality and footage is better. But
Yeah.
definitely that takes a lot of time to coordinate and flying out and yeah, everybody's kind of worldwide, and so remote's just way more easier and convenient to jump on a computer and do this. And so once again, Kareem, thank you for jumping on. Before we end, you got any like Anything you want to chat about or anything you want to bring up?
Man, nah, man. I think everybody just keep rocking, bro. Everybody just keep rocking and doing your thing and just keep it positive, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, just keep having fun, you know? Like let's less judgment and more compassion, you know? Less criticism and more compassion for each other. And I think that's where I
Mm, love it. Love it. Dope. And then, for the viewers and audience want to know more about the Rock Force crew, is there any, I know you mentioned so you're working on a few things. Is there any nuggets that you can bring up, or we kind of just have to wait and see?
Yeah, you'll see in 2027. It's exciting stuff though. But you know, we'll stay active and keep on, you know, being the crew that we are, representing ourselves and paying it forward. And yeah, you guys will see some cool stuff. And I'll be 2027, I'll be healed, God willing, and my performances will start being better as well.
Ooh, yeah. Heck yeah. Love it. Hey, get ready for the 40 plus 40
Nope,
for
not
freestyle.
doing it. Nope, not doing it. Will not do it. You ain't gonna age me out, bro. I'm not doing that battle. Nope. Will not do it.
Dope, dude. B-Boy Kareem, it's a pleasure getting you on here once again. Thank you once again taking the time. B-Boy Kareem, Rock First Crew. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you. Peace out.